Hello. Let me tell you a little bit where we are in the course at this point. So we started the course talking about values, American values, ideology. Then we shifted and took a look at the Constitution, the basic framework of our government. For the next 3 weeks, we're going to be sort of looking at politics from the outside. We're going to look at the activities of interest groups, the media, and political parties. And then we'll come back the final part of the course and go back into government and look at the three branches and how they operate, the executive, judicial, and legislative branches. So that's where we're at. So looking at sort of how people influence politics, I want to start off this week talking about interest groups. Now, you've probably all heard about special interest groups. This is sort of often seen as the ugly side of American politics. I think that has a lot of Americans really angry at the system. Wealthy people who seem to be buying off politicians. And there's no doubt that that's an issue in our system. The tough thing is the right to form an interest group, that is a group of people to get together and try to lobby and influence the government. It's a basic civil liberty that we cherish in our democracy, the right to voice our opposition, try to influence government. That's what democracy is about. The problem is that some groups have a lot of money, really, really deep pockets. And so we all have the right to influence government, but some of us have a lot more ability to do that than others. And this is where we get into the problem is maybe we don't have tyranny of the majority anymore, but we have a tyranny of the minority being the wealthy. The lecture is going to talk about this guy Stewart's, and the article on sugar daddies is a good example of this. Stewart's writes about the sugar lobby and points out how the sugar lobby, a small group, has had enormous influence on Congress and managed to get subsidies passed that raise the price of sugar for all of us. They gain millions and millions of dollars. They spend millions of dollars for the lobby, and they gain even more back in their ability to make more profits with higher prices of sugar. We pay for it, but not that much. You know, you spend a little bit more on a candy bar and ice cream and anything else that has sugar on it. Are we going to fight it? We get a little angry when you hear about it. You'll read about it. You'll get mad. But here's the thing. It's just like what Madison was saying in Federalist Paper number 10. There are a whole lot of different groups spread out across the country. All of us, consumers, are upset maybe with sugar subsidies. Environmentalists don't like it because it allows American domestic growers to grow sugar where they probably shouldn't be growing because of the environmental costs of it. Free traders, conservatives may say, you know, let's let the free market work its wonders, and this is undue government interference. Human rights advocates who say this takes away jobs from poorer countries. So you got all these groups that would be potentially against the sugar subsidies, but we're all divided and we're all spread out. This narrow, concentrated sugar lobby can get its way through big, big spending. So what do we do about that? Well, there have been numerous attempts by Congress to clean up politics, to put limits on how much people can give politicians, but none of them have really succeeded. First of all, the courts have ruled that giving money to a politician is a form of free speech. So you can look at that issue and what they've done. They've actually overturned some of the campaign finance laws. Now, some laws still stand. There is a limit how much money you can give directly to a politician. However, what people have done is they formed these other organizations called political action committees, or PACs. You've probably heard about PACs and super PACs. And they can raise enormous sums of money. As long as it doesn't go directly to the politician, it can go to an outside group that can then campaign on behalf of the politician, as long as they don't coordinate with him. To really understand what PACs are, I strongly encourage you to watch the two clips from Stephen Colbert that are with this week's material. Not only are they very funny, but they will really give some clarity and simplicity to what can be a really dry and complex subject. PACs are really the new big players on our game. Before I'll leave you one word of optimism before you get too frustrated by our whole system, because there is a problem, but do be aware money doesn't always win. You could just talk to Jeb Bush about that. Last spring, everyone assumed he was going to be the Republican nominee because he had enormous sums of money. Now, Donald Trump is able to spend his own money. And we'll see if he actually wins the presidency or not. California certainly has a history of denying the governorship to a lot of self-funded millionaires who thought they can just, you know, use their own money, perhaps buy an office. So it influences a lot of races and races on the edges, but voting, charisma, policy do matter as well. So we'll do what we can. Take care. Have a good week.